Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Departure. I decided to film this different style video than what I have been filming because I know I've been doing a lot of vlogs and travel vlogs and a couple different things related to becoming a flight attendant. But today I decided to work on a video that was very different from those things, and I was inspired by a trend that was going on, I think kind of last year sometime. A lot of YouTubers were filming videos about the amount of money they spent in a week as an XYZ age of YouTuber in XYZ city. So I thought I would take a flight attendant spin on this video and talk about what I spent in a week as a flight attendant. I thought this video would be interesting to do just because one of the topics of conversation that comes up a lot when people are asking about becoming a flight attendant is, how much money do you make? And do you make a lot of money as a flight attendant? Yes, no, how much? Let me tell you, starting out as a flight attendant, you do not make a lot of money. It is really hard, and this video is not necessarily tackling that topic of exactly how much a flight attendant makes, but I will make the statement of, as a flight attendant, especially a junior one starting out, you do not make a lot of money. So I thought I would break down a week in my life and the random charges that I have on my credit card and the random things that I purchase. And this was actually the first time I've really sat down and tracked like what I spent in a week, and it was kind of crazy to me to see the end total of what I spent in a week, just kind of see everything add up. Even though I obviously pay my credit card bill every month and I know how much I typically spend, it was just kind of weird to track it daily and see how much I spent on a daily basis and how that compared from one day to the next. So let's get right into it. I started this little project on January 14th, and on day one, I actually had two purchases that day, and they were both food related. So the first thing that I purchased from Amazon was $16.96, and that is one of my favorite things that I buy from Amazon. It's this brand called Right Rice. It is so good. My boyfriend is a huge fan of it, so I really like purchasing that because it is so good. And that was, like I said, $16.96. And then later that day, we also went to the grocery store and I purchased groceries for myself slash kind of sort of for my boyfriend, because sometimes if he's in Chicago and we're at my apartment, I am making dinner for him. And that was $59.26. And that was pretty much my groceries for the week. So that night I actually made dinner at home and I made a couscous salad. I accidentally used quinoa actually to make it, and it was still delicious. It was really good. But yeah, that's what I made, and then we actually ended up eating that for the next day or so, and I gave some to my boyfriend to take on his trip as well. Because later that night we actually didn't eat that for dinner. That was more like a snack because we ended up going out to Korean barbecue, but I did not pay for Korean barbecue because I usually don't want to go, and my boyfriend and sister really wanted to go that night. So the deal is when we go to Korean barbecue, because they're always the ones that are pressuring me to go, they have to pay then. So just kind of something we like to do. And yeah, so we had Korean barbecue that night, but then those groceries that I did purchase spanned for the rest of the week. I ended up picking up a 2-day the next day on the 15th. So that day I packed food for that 2-day that I went on. And so on the plane, I ate a salad, which I used the lettuce and the rest of the groceries and that quinoa salad that I made, and I ate that on the plane. So that was part of the purchase I had made the day prior. But on day 2, on the 15th of January, I had 2 different charges actually. The first one was my Spotify that reigned in that day, so that was $10.89. I do pay for Spotify Premium. I love to listen to music. It's great to have on hand, especially when I am flying, and not when I'm flying, when I'm non-revving and flying as a passenger. I don't listen to music when I'm at work, actually. Let's correct that. But yeah, so I pay for Spotify Premium. That's $8.90. Can't read numbers. $10.89. Also, I wrote it on the back of airplane napkins, so that's just something I did on the plane today. And then I also made a purchase from Nordstrom Rack, and the reason that I made this purchase was because, if you haven't heard already, my wallet was stolen from me in the beginning of of January, and I needed to buy that same exact wallet because I absolutely love it. It is small, it is travel proof, but not theft proof. And it was around $30, but I also ended up buying a jumpsuit because I found a jumpsuit online that I knew would be a staple travel piece. And I've really been trying not to spend a lot of money on clothes, but I did need to replace one of the jumpsuits that is one of my staple pieces for traveling. So I purchased another jumpsuit, and that Nordstrom Rack purchase was $54.13. So on day 2, I spent $65.02. And then day 3 rolled around, and that was the 16th of January. I had 2 purchases that day. The first purchase was my Ventura card, which is my Metro Pass for the city of Chicago, and it does an auto refill on my card. So that was an auto refill of $20, and even though it came in at $20 flat, that'll actually last me probably till at least the middle of February. I usually have to auto load it maybe once a month, depending, it really depends on how much I'm commuting to work and stuff. So on reserve months when I don't fly, I don't have to pay for the train as much, which is great. I also made a purchase for this product that I was really hesitant on buying for a while, but I was like, okay, no, I need it because I will definitely use it. And it is this product called a DOP. We'll talk about that later actually in a vlog video because I already used it on one of my layovers and it was awesome. Really great product there. So that was $16.86. I think it's gonna come in handy a lot for traveling, so I'm really excited about that product. So that day I spent $36.02. Then fast forward to day 4, and it is the 17th of January. On this day I was flying on a 4-day trip, and so I packed food for that trip, and I actually ended up having lunch at the airport with my boyfriend. That was a really long day that day. We canceled and laid over in Chicago. That day I spent $0. Day 5 of this week was the 18th of January. I was staying at a hotel that had free breakfast, so my breakfast was free, which is a huge plus. And that was really great too because I was able to have a banana from that breakfast that was later on my snack. Also on my first deadhead, I got a seat in the business class cabin, so they came around with a snack basket, which was awesome for me because I got some free snacks as well. So, you know, sometimes you kind of get those free little treats in between that helps you save money. On my layover, I went to 7-Eleven with my 2 friends that I was flying that trip with, which I vlogged that trip. I will link it up above at some point. And we went to 7-Eleven to get some snacks, which was much needed, and that was $6.22, and that also lasted me the rest of that 4-day trip. 4-day trips are really long, and I did not bring enough snacks. So that brings us to day 6. On day 6, I had some sit time in Austin on my 4-day trip. Our trip completely fell apart, and we ended up deadheading to Austin that day. Also, that previous night on my layover, my refrigerator did not work on my layover, so all the food that I had packed for the rest of the trip was unrefrigerated for like the 15 hours that we were there on the overnight. So I had food, but then I ended up not being able to eat it because it was unrefrigerated for that whole time. So shout out to staying in hotels and living out of hotels and packing my own food, and the refrigerator didn't work. Yeah, that was great. Lesson learned. Don't trust refrigerators at hotels. So I bought a bagel at the airport, and that was for $33. That is all I spent for day 6. We made it to day 7 of keeping track of how much money I spent in a week. I actually spent $0 on day 7, so I managed to survive off of the food that I had at home. Basically, that purchase that I made in the beginning of the week for food lasted me to the end of the week. So rounding out that whole week, I ended up spending $187.81. That was the grand total for the week. I have been trying to be really budget friendly for the month of January and really trying not to spend a lot of money, which I think the hardest part about being a flight attendant and traveling all the time is sometimes you're in these wonderful cities and you want to go out and spend money, and so I really try not to do that, and I am pretty good about not doing it, but sometimes you just need to splurge and you need to have a little treat yourself day. But that is why I try to be pretty money conscious a lot of the time, because I like to be able to enjoy my layovers and go out and not be so worried about money. You are traveling so much during the month, so I really try to pack food because I don't really enjoy eating airport food a lot, and airport food can also be really expensive, so I try to avoid it as much as I can. I do spend probably most of my money goes to groceries, and like I've said in other videos too, I am a vegetarian, so I spend a little bit more on groceries because I buy a lot of meat alternatives, and eating as vegetarian seems to sometimes be more expensive just because those products I feel like are always so much more expensive. The food that I purchase is usually like 95% vegan also, so I definitely spend more money on my food purchases because I try to eat vegan most of the time. I really think that most of my money that I usually spend in the month goes towards food, layover expenses, and usually when I'm buying something clothing wise, I'm usually buying something that is an item I will wear on repeat. I am not a minimalist by any means, but I definitely try to be really conscious of the things that I purchase clothing wise, because I really do wear a lot of the same things. I mean, if you flip through my Instagram, you'll see me basically in like the same 5 outfits. It's pretty embarrassing, but when I travel so much, I like my staples and I know what works for me, so I try to wear those a lot. But also, I feel ridiculous buying new outfits literally all the time. I'm kind of over that like mega spending phase of just buying random clothes all the time, because I have my staple pieces that I know I like to travel with, and usually when I buy something I wear it on repeat. If you are looking into being a flight attendant and you are really hesitant because of the amount of money you make as a flight attendant, I will say first off, it does get better. Sometimes you have to work your tail off on some months getting in as many hours as you can, because it really helps to fly a lot of hours some months, but also you do sacrifice being away from home. It is really hard sometimes being away from home for 3 or 4 days and not having like your whole pantry and refrigerator available to you. So I think sometimes I'm trying to be better at this, but sometimes I just kind of go on a spending spree when I am out and about and I buy airport food, and it really adds up. So I've really worked hard at trying to figure out what are kind of staple meals for me too that I'd like to take with me on trips. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and getting to see what I purchase in a week. I thought it'd be interesting to give my perspective on what I spend in a week as a flight attendant that lives in Chicago in a major US city. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Daily Departure and also ring the bell so you get notifications when I'm posting new videos, because I'm always traveling and trying to create more content to give you some insight on the life of a flight attendant. Also check out the description down below. I have plenty of links down there on flight attendant and crew related things, as well as my Instagram and my blog down there, so go ahead and check out all the links I have down in the description, and I will see you next time on the Daily Departure.